And one of the things that I see, whether it's in the medical arena or in this arena, is that when the head is not connected to the heart, the hands and feet can do the most atrocious things. And that is what I see. This is the sky as it is supposed to look, and I have a quote from Kennedy, which is, I think, very appropriate. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. I think that's why he was killed. All the pictures in here with the landscapes are the pictures I took around where I live. So the facts we are not supposed to know, but we deserve to know. Some people know them. The pilots, for instance, they are in the know. This is from a website where pilots are talking to each other online, and one of them says, "I could tell you all the truth about chemtrails, but my contract requires me to shoot you afterwards. So I better keep shut and avoid being connected to chemtrails, UFOs," and he names a few other things. So then comes up the question of allegiance. Our politicians, everybody who is reigning over us, and not reigning as in reign, but as in having control over us, people, they have allegiance to whom? And I found that in Canada, the politicians, the members of parliament and the members of the Privy Council, they plead allegiance to Elizabeth. And that's not so alright if you know that she is part of the Club of the Isles and that sort of thing. That controls everything from materials to foods to source materials. And in the Netherlands, the Prime Minister and the ministers are being appointed and discharged by royal decree. That means Queen Beatrix, that means Bilderberg. So our politicians mainly are slaves of Bilderberg and CFR and. So when we as citizens protest, where do we go? Do we go here to the Peace Palace? This is a document that was in the presentation of Koen Vermeer, and so I can be very short with that. But it has here it was the first time that the word chemtrails was mentioned in an official document. And under C it says the term exotic weapons system includes weapons designed to damage space or natural ecosystems, such as the ionosphere and upper atmosphere, or climate, weather and tectonic systems. Interesting. With the purpose of inducing damage or destruction upon a target population or region on Earth or in space. So that's us. And what happened to House Resolution 2977? It was rewritten. And it was renamed into the Space Preservation Act of 2002, and all the interesting words were gone. So that's how our politicians have allegiance to Elizabeth and I don't know who. In the arena of chemtrails, it is always a matter of chemtrails plus. So I made a little breakdown. It's all stuff and subjects that damage us to begin with. So vaccines is the first time when you, as a baby, are being jabbed, then you have the first toxins in your body. Western medicine is another one. Western dentistry is another one. Medications and chemotherapy are stuff that are not compatible with our bodies. It's artificial, synthetic material. GM food crops, genetically manipulate, I can't even say. Yeah, no, I want to say manipulate because modify is a word that sounds so much nicer. And it's not nice at all. That's why I say it like that. Chemicals and pesticides, yeah, we all know about those. Food processing, taking out all the good stuff and putting in food additives in between and codex alimentarius to keep the good stuff away from us so we can't heal from the damage of this artificial food. I used to say in a village that it was the pharmacy that was the toxic belt in a village. Now a supermarket is a very good second one. Toxic packaging and radiation. They radiate our food, which means that it changes the proteins and the amino acids, the bondings between those materials. And toxic packaging, think about aluminum packages of Capri-Sonne. You have orange juice in an aluminum package. They gave that to a school class and they were, in no time, they had a lot of that to drink. And in no time these kids got ADHD. It was the aluminum. Microwave kills your food. Teflon is basically fluoride. And fluoride in the water or in your cookware will take off 10 to 15 points of your IQ. Nuclear fallout, not so depleted uranium. Electropollution, very important. We are living batteries. Our system works with electromagnetic frequencies. So if you disturb those, you disturb the whole organism. And computers and cell phones will do that. And power cables and extra low frequencies. And SQUAD, silent sound spectrum, and I always forgot the first spread spectrum, yes, thank you. That is a way of manipulating our way of thinking. And then, of course, there's Hollywood and the television, but also, very important, they changed the musical tone A from 432 Hertz to 440. And that has a deep impact. And it is never one thing, it is all these things together. So that I want to stretch very much. Here's a church in my backyard, and this was the sky as it has been given to us by God. Because, thank you Iceland. And this was 22nd of April, a few days later. They came back with a vengeance, with sag, 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 sag. So what is sag? Stratospheric aerosol geoengineering, also known as chemtrails. And the particles, for people who want to know, is an aerosol is a suspension of fine solid particles or liquid droplets in a gas. First time global warming was mentioned was in the Indiana Hammond Times in '57. And they stated that California scientists were studying the possibility that this continued pouring forth of waste gases may upset the rather delicate carbon dioxide balance in the Earth's general atmosphere, and that a large-scale global warming with radical climate changes may result. That was '57. And up came the patents. This has been in the other presentation as well. And this is based on a patent from 1927, so they have been at it for quite some time. This is another patent that was mentioned also, and these are patents from 1965 and 1988. And then Welsbach materials and the oxides of metals are mentioned. Stuff that does not belong to our environment, to our lungs, to our systems, or whatsoever.